Today, we're going to look at some parts of your astrology chart that I don't normally talk about. Most of my work these days focuses on what was formerly cosmic cash codes that is now becoming part of cosmic currency, which are certain parts of your astrology chart that we look at when we want to see what your optimal relationship with money is, especially as a self employed person, how you are designed to earn money, to invest your money, to open to receive more money, to expand and scale what's possible with your money. There's going to be an overlap today with that. And various pieces that are specific to your money flow. But here's the thing about using astrology as a business owner, and particularly the way that I like to embrace it and serve it to my clients so that it's actually practically usable. They're cheat codes basically that create this practical magic potential because you are able to see how am I designed differently in these different areas. Where the magic comes from is you can literally look at your chart to see just about anything in terms of how you are designed for energy to flow through you and ground into your reality. I love to look at the money codes because money is just energy flow made manifest. Abundance is that energy flow that then becomes materially manifest in the form of revenue and profit and wealth. As a business owner, it's such a big part of the game that we're playing. But also, as a business owner, we wear so many hats and there are so many different things that we need to be aware of and tune into and really pour our essence into so that our business is on the inside as fulfilling as possible and on the outside as successful as possible. That we're able to package our genius, our magic into offerings that land for our ideal clients and become exactly what they need from us. All of these different things are indicated through the reflection of our birth chart. So there's two things that I want to talk about today. This was actually inspired by a presentation that I was honored to give inside of a program of a coach that I really respect and admire. I was able to present this to some really incredible women, and it landed so well that I wanted to share it with all of you as well. So, the two things that we're going to be looking at today are the codes that make up your spark, your unique angle, your brand, your special sauce, your it factor, because the more that you are aligned with that, the more that you are going to come off as authentic because you're going to be in alignment with what people are feeling emanate from you anyway. The more that you are going to find and ground into your niche and connect with your ideal clients, the more that you are lit up with that special sauce, the more successful you're going to be in business. And the more your business vehicle and what you do every day is going to feel aligned with who you are and how you are meant to show up inside of it. So that's going to be one piece that we're going to talk about today. The other piece is your scaling codes. This is something that I do talk about in the context of the money codes, but we're going to bring in a couple other pieces too. For each of them, we're going to create this triangulation of parts that you can look at in your chart to really get an understanding of how you are designed to shine in your business and how you are designed to scale in your business. Before we actually get into the territory of these codes, because I'm stepping back and broadening and talking about that we really can look to our astrology charts for just about anything. You just need to know where to look. I want to get back to the basics of how this works and where this magic comes from. So your astrology chart, your birth natal chart, is a map, a reflection of a snapshot of the energetic matrix that was present the moment that you took your first breath. That energetic matrix is what was infused into you, imprinted upon you, and became the familiarity for you of a kind of energetic home base. When we're looking at what is energetic alignment for you in these these different areas, we look to your chart because it shows us how you were imprinted energetically, the design that was infused into you that became your optimal way for energy to move through you and then ground into your reality is represented by various parts of your chart, luminaries, planets, and points. So the first piece, number one, is if we are trying to get to the cosmic codes of something in your chart, the first thing is to identify what are we looking at? What are the pieces and parts of you reflected in your astrology chart that we can look to see what your unique placements are to reveal to us how you are uniquely designed in that area. So that's first. And I'm going to get to that next and tell you what the three pieces are for each of these that we're going to look at today. And then from there, the next thing that we look at is the sign and house of those placements. The sign is the energetic quality, the style, the motivation, the vibe of that placement for you. So that's one big clue of that code. The other one is the house, and that's the real life arena. That's the part of your life or business that part of you is designed to express into. When you connect that circuit, when you activate that code in that way, where you are expressing that part of you in that way based on your sign and into that life area based on your house, you're basically completing a circuit and you are activating and turning on and increasing your capacity to channel more energy into that area of your life. Thirdly, I like to always go one layer deeper and look at the ruler of that luminary planet or point. When we look to the ruler and its sign and house, we get another layer of nuance into that code for you. Not only that, but these codes are not static. These are dynamically evolving over time, these parts of you and what their ideal expression is, whatever season of life you're in or whatever stage of business you're in. We look to the ruler because the ruler is like your guide through that evolving code. It's a planet and a style. So when you also familiarize yourself with the guide that's associated, aka ruler, with that code, you are able to create a relationship with this certain part of you that is there to guide you forward as you continue to shift and align your life and business with that code. Okay, so first, high level here, I'm going to point to what the placements are that we're going to look to talk about these two things, your spark and your scaling codes. I want to tell you these now because after I tell you, if you want to hit pause, go pull up your chart and identify these 6 codes. You'll be right there with me for us to move through together how you're able to look to these to better understand your unique codes of spark and scaling. Okay, for your spark codes, we're talking about what these aspects of you are, what it means for you to be yourself, where being yourself and the way that lights you up is almost contagious and lights up other people. So these are the codes where just by being yourself in these ways, other people get lit up by you and feel magnetized towards you, attracted towards you. There's a lot of clues in these spark codes around how to package your offerings, what your brand essence is and should be infused with, what your aesthetics wants to be with your brand and offerings so that there's alignment there. These are all about clarifying your magnetism, your brand essence, and that inner spark that you want to infuse in your business that sparks something in others by activating it. The 3 that we're going to be looking at are your rising code, your sun code, and your Venus code. For these, if you want to pull up your chart and be ready to move through them together, for your rising code, you want to look at your rising sign and any planets in your first house. For your Sun and Venus codes, you want to look at the sign and house that they are in. The other one we're going to be looking at today is your scaling codes. Once you have established a foundation of infusing your brand and business presence with that it factor spark, from there, you're able to scale in the way that you are designed to, in a way that continues to be really authentic and doesn't cause you burnout or to feel like you're selling out, because you're starting with a foundation of being really authentically yourself and you're growing from there. When we're talking about scaling codes, we are talking about what growth looks like for you, what your relationship is with expanding beyond your growth edges and expanding your capacity to scale, the inside job first. From there, what structures do you need to put in place? What areas of your life do you need to lean into mastery around so that you can sustainably stay the course for the long game to scale your business? Lastly, the legacy stuff. When you do stay the course for that long game, when you grow your business over a longer timeline, how you are creating a body of work and leaving behind a legacy. So the three pieces that we're going to look at for this is your midheaven. So with your spark code, we were talking about your rising sign, the point in the east that was rising the moment that you took your first breath. For the scaling code, we're looking at your midheaven, which is the sign at the upward pointing arrow in your chart. The other two are your Saturn and Jupiter codes. So similarly to the spark codes, for the scaling codes, you're going to want to look at what is the sign of your midheaven at that top arrow, cusp of the 10th house, and any planets that are in your 10th house. And then your Saturn and Jupiter, you're going to want to look at the sign and house that they're in. First up, your rising code, the first of your spark codes. We're talking about the way that you dawn on people. Again, it's the part of your chart that was rising in the east, the moment that you took your first breath. So just like that sunrise energy reflected in that archetype in your chart, we're talking about how you first dawn on people, almost like the energetic handshake that precedes you. So before people even get to know you or work with you, it's like the vibe that they first feel from you. This is a biggie when it comes to your brand presence, because your rising code contains a way of understanding what that energy is that people, like the vibe that you're radiating anyway. People feel this from you anyway. So if you're also infusing the vibe of this archetype into your actual brand presence for your business, people feel a resonance there. It's a big part of where initial trust comes from that people can't quite put their finger on when they meet you and become aware of your business. Versus if there's a mismatch, if there's a misalignment or a dissonance between your rising code and the way that you present yourself through your business brand, something's just going to feel off to them. They're going to feel that and not quite know why, but it affects the trust that they then don't feel right off the gate. Besides that, it ends up feeling in resonance to those that come across it and you. It also feels good to you to be existing inside of. The container of your business feels like skin that you're comfortable inside of, and expressing yourself through it feels natural instead of forced. Then we look to the ruling planet to see what the guide is for you around your evolving brand expression. I'll give the example for me. I am a Scorpio rising. I also have Saturn and my South Node in my first house as deeper layers to that. So I carry a deep magnetic authority. My presence feels steady because it's earned. This is the code that I align with when it comes to my rising code. And what's interesting too with this one, if anyone else has Saturn in their first house, a big part of that earned mastery, that magnetism that comes from people trusting that I've been there so they can trust me to take them there too, is when you have Saturn in your first house, people don't really trust you till you're older. Saturn is such a wise elder, like old soul kind of vibe. Again, it's that resonance. If that's what they feel from you, but you're young, there's a mismatch. So I feel like I have crossed the 40 threshold. I'm finally entering into the phase of my life where people are starting to take me more seriously because what they see matches what they feel from me with that Saturn in the first house. My guiding planet for my rising code is Pluto in Scorpio, which just continues to amplify those Scorpio vibes, both with Pluto and then Pluto being in Scorpio. So my power aligns when I root into soul truth over control, presence over performance. Again, the transformations that I go through and the more I align with the truth of that deeper territory and where I'm coming from to create my brand and business, the more aligned it feels for me, authentic it feels for the people that I'm meant to serve, and the more magnetizing my brand becomes. Next up, your sun code. Just like the sun in the sky, that's the center of the solar system and is the source of warmth that makes life possible on this planet, your sun code is your source of energy. I like to say that when you're on your sun, when you're doing your sun, it's better than coffee. And when you are on your sun, doing your sun, other people feel that. It's contagious, it's magnetic. You can think of an example when you're around somebody that's just running on fumes. That doesn't exactly make you feel very lit up in their presence. But when you're around someone that is just lit up and beaming, it gives you more life and energy too. That is the power of your sun code in your business. So think core brilliance, natural leadership, and that energizing presence, whereby what energizes you moves through you and energizes other people too. When people feel lit up by your energy, they are drawn to you naturally. The ruling planet is what guides that core leadership style. I'll give the example in my chart. I have a sun in Aquarius in the third house. So my code is that I lead with forward-thinking ideas. My brilliance lives in connecting insights that spark new ways of seeing. So the Aquarius piece is that innovative forward thinking. The third house is where we then apply that energy into the life arena of actual perspectives and the mind maps that are available for people. So when we have Aquarius meets the third house, it's like innovative mind maps, new innovative ways of thinking about things. My ruler is Uranus in Sagittarius, bringing in that Sag flavor. So my guidance comes through when it comes to my sun code, when I trust the bigger picture and speak bold truths that redraw the map. Great example being so many people, when they think of the money flow, financial tending obligation in their business, they don't want to think about it. They're avoidant of it. And if they have to do it, it feels like a boring chore that they'd rather not do. It feels so far from the magic that they experience otherwise creatively and in service in their business. So a big part of my work with Cosmic Currency is to help people to bridge those worlds, to see the bigger picture where the magic that you know and are connected with in so many other areas of your life and business not only can be applied to your money, but is so powerfully put there. It's just such a huge missing piece. I help to redraw that map so that people can have a new perspective and see new possibility around integrating their relationship with their money with their relationship with magic in general. Last up for the spark codes, we have your Venus code. Again, this one has a lot to do with your brand presence. It's the way that you attract what you value and infuse beauty into whatever you offer. A big part of it is your aesthetic brand presence, your actual graphics, your color choice. There can be some clues and codes there in your Venus code to make those as aligned and authentic and in sync with you as possible. But it also has to do with deeper values. If you've taken the time to list out your company values, this often in big part comes from your Venus code. The way that I like to talk about the power of this planet and the codes associated with it are I'm sure you've heard of the love languages. I found that really people often have different love languages, the way that they are designed to give love versus receive love. Venus are those receiving love language qualities. So when you get really clear of what those are for you inside of your business and what your brand values are, you then magnetize and attract the people that you super vibe with. Think aesthetic vibe, values in motion, attraction style, again, brand values, and also how you want people to feel in your world and inside your containers is a big part of where those values come from. Brand aesthetics and how you package your offers. Whereas with the rising code, we were talking more about just your branding in general. With Venus codes, we're talking more about how you brand your offers and those spaces that you actually invite people into. The ruling planet of your Venus indicates the planet that is guiding your magnetism and your evolving client attraction. I'll share the example in my chart. My Venus is in Aries in the fifth house. So it's this combination of really bold, fiery energy in the house of creativity. I attract through bold, creative passion. People feel my joy and want to join me in it. And my ruling planet there is Mars in Aries, actually only a degree apart. They're very fused together. My magnetism aligns when I create from instinct and lead with what lights me up. And let me tell you, anytime I have a new offer that I'm excited about, that I get that Aquarian download about, the very first thing that I do is go and create graphics around it and get into that digital art space that is my absolute favorite starting point, initiation point to dive into the creation of something new. It's what gets me super lit up, inspired, motivated. And you tell me, do you feel that when I come at you with something new? Okay, switching gears, let's now look at your scaling style, the scaling codes that are how you are designed to grow, to expand your capacity, to impact more people and lives, and to, in general, have a bigger influence, bigger legacy through your body of work. This is the energy you grow through, lead with, and build upon. First up, we have your midheaven code, that upward pointing arrow. That axis of your chart goes from the IC to the MC. That's at the bottom of your chart is that inward place where you exist with your family, your formative years. It's a cocoon that you start inside of. And then your midheaven is where you then stand up tall with a straight spine and own your purpose and your professionalism through your craft and the vehicle of your business. So it has a lot to do with the reputation that you're shaping, that people are knowing you for. When you are on lock with your midheaven code, that's when somebody asks, oh, I need help with this, that, or the other. And someone's like, I know exactly the person, and they point to you because you start to be known for and create reputation around how you help and serve people through your work. Reputation is a big part of it, as is authority. When people come to know and trust you for the work that you're able to do, the mastery, the genius that you bring to your services and your offers. It's your life's work over a timeline, what you're actually creating and putting out there. So it's the impact arc associated with that over time. And then you have that deeper layer of the ruling planet of Saturn, which is the planet guiding that public path and positioning as your business evolves and grows. I'll give the example for me. My midheaven is in Leo, and I also have my Virgo moon in my 10th house. I'm designed to be known for visibility, not just to shine in that Leo way, but with that Virgo moon to illuminate what's ready to evolve. This is such a big part of the work that I do. When my clients come to me ready to receive the support of cosmic currency, it's because they're done hiding, they're done avoiding the things that they don't want to look at around money. And I'm here to lovingly shine a spotlight on those things when, and this is such a big part of it, you feel ready to do that work. And that's that lunar nurturing quality of my Virgo moon there. It's like, let's light the scene up, let's do this, but only if you actually feel ready at your growth edge to be able to embrace this work. And my guide, my sun in Aquarius, my path aligns when I speak to what others avoid trusting that my voice is here to awaken, not appease. Nothing but truth telling around these spaces that keep us crouched under a concrete ceiling so we can instead light up our space, be very visible and seen in the work that we're doing through being in compliance financially, feeling confident and on top of our money game so that we're not somehow even slightly hiding or crouching down. Next up for scaling codes, we have your Jupiter code. This is actually one that we touch on in formerly Cosmic Cash codes, soon to be integrated into Cosmic Currency codes. This is the way from an inner game of your trust and your belief in your own gifts and the way that you connect that with the vision to actually share them. So there's the inner work part of how do you actually grow your own belief and capacity to hold more and be more and show up as more. Then there's the outer game of how you actually grow and scale your business. What is the optimal strategy that is going to work for you when it comes to growing, getting bigger, expanding your reach and your impact? Think again, growth edge capacity, momentum, opportunities. Our Jupiter code is a big understanding what that is. These are the doors that open up for you so that you're looking for them and you know to say yes when they show up for you. And it really is the path to natural abundance. Venus also is your receiving codes. We talked about that with receiving and attracting the right people. It's also with receiving money and revenue. Venus and Jupiter go really well together as well. With Venus codes, how do you open to receive? With Jupiter codes, how do you take what you're receiving and make it even bigger? This is the way of natural abundance, and the ruling planet guides your growth strategy every step of the way. My example is the same as my sun code, Aquarius in the third house. I grow through teaching and truth telling. My voice opens doors when it's shared with care. My Uranus and Sagittarius ruler that we already touched on, my expansion aligns when I trust the value of my insights and anchor them into my message. Last up with your scaling codes, we bring Saturn into the mix. Let me just say, knowing your Saturn and Jupiter codes, they work together in such a beautiful way where they're almost the breath of you and your sustainable growth. With Jupiter, we're talking about that expansion. Saturn is the contraction and the refinement and the maturity and the focus. So they're constantly working together. Jupiter expanding us into what's possible, Saturn bringing us back to reality. It's always 2 steps forward, 1 step back, responsibly growing our capacity. With Saturn, we're talking about the structure you're here to commit to and the foundation that it allows you to create to be able to hold more. Think long game strategy, sustainability, the systems that help you to sustain the long game forward, and the earned mastery that comes from playing the long game. We're looking at what to take seriously to mature into that potential, the area to commit to mastering for sustainable growth. And then the ruling planet shows us who our guide is to that sustainable success structure. My example is Scorpio in the first house. I talked about this a little bit with my rising. My code is that I build success through embodied boundaries. My structure creates safety for my vision to expand. And oh my goodness, this is so true. Back when I had my tax practice, every step of the way of me being able to go bigger and serve more clients was because I refined my structures and in particular my boundaries around how and where I was available to communicate with clients through the filing process and just really tightening up ship. The more that I do that, the more that I was able to go bigger and bigger and bigger. And here's the thing too, with scaling, we're not just ever talking about success, which is that outward dimension. We're talking about also how fulfilled it feels internally. Every time that I would find a new boundary to put into place and communicate with loving care, but firm clarity, it just felt so right. Saturn is that planet and that guide where it's not always the most fun, but it is so incredibly fulfilling. Every step that we take toward our mastery is just satisfying on a whole nother level. My Pluto in Scorpio guide for Saturn as well. My sustainability aligns when I root my systems in soul, not scarcity, and honor what I need to feel secure. Not coming from a place of reactivity or people pleaser or my clients' needs necessarily, but really being rooted first and foremost into what is going to be the most sustainable and aligned for me. When I come from that place, not only does it work so much better for me, obviously, but it actually invites my clients into a space that feels so much more aligned for them as well. And for our relationship, our dynamic, our interactions, the impact I'm able to have on them and what they're able to get out of what I provide. I hope this was informative through my examples, helpful as a mirror for you to look at yours, and also inspiring on the level of, and this is what I always aim to do, how to demystify and simplify what is ultimately sometimes a rather complex and confusing looking for non-astrologers to look at your astrology chart, because there are just such incredibly powerful codes in there for you. It is my love and passion to decode those with you. When I talk about these things, I have to talk about them theoretically, energetically, vaguely, because the real magic comes when we're talking about them together. We're looking at your chart together and you're able to share, oh, yeah, I can think of a time or a project or a season in my life or business when I was really aligned with that code. I know exactly what you're talking about, and here's the example. Or I can think of a time when I really wasn't, and oh my goodness, that explains why that felt so off and didn't work at all. And then from there, we're able to almost triangulate. It's like, okay, if you are able to identify a memory and a feeling associated with how and what it felt like to be aligned with that code, we can then bring that into the present moment, into your current projects, offers, your current business, and find very actionable, practical ways to make little tweaks to bring that in now. It really just makes all the difference. Whether it's specifically your money currency codes, which are my favorite to geek out on, or any of these other supporting angles that are so important as a business owner, like aligning with your spark and scaling with purpose and intention and alignment with your chart. It is so powerful to know the codes of your birth chart. And I mean, I call them codes because I hope that it evokes a little bit of a nod to that these really are like cheat codes. And it's a shame when people aren't able to have them in their toolkit, in their belt from the beginning, to make sure that your business feels as aligned internally as it is successfully out into the world.